Hello, hello. Welcome to Just Jenna. You have no idea how excited I am that you're here. I'll be sharing the wisdom, questions, and curious little truths I've gathered along the way. From brilliant thinkers to weird memes, from ancient texts to the knowing of nature. Some of what I've learned came from books, some from breakdowns, some from simply paying attention, and some from fumbling through it myself. My hope is that these stories expand you the way that they've expanded me. So maybe, just maybe, you don't have to trip over the same parts of life I did. And if you do trip and fall, it's okay. I won't tell anyone. Hello, my little chickadees. My little chickadees, chickadee doodas. Hi, you guys. So, I have something I want to share with you. And it's something that I've been doing for months now. And I think this could be something worth sharing. So I'm going to say it. If it lands, cool. If it doesn't, I hope you are serenaded by the lovely sound of my voice, even though I do believe I have strep throat at this moment in time. Right after I'm done recording this, I am going to go to urgent care and probably get some medicine. I'm sipping on some hot peppermint tea. And you're like, Jenna, why would you record this? Well, it's because I'm so dedicated to my craft. And I love podcasting so much. And I love doing this so much. I feel so lucky that I get to do this. And here I am. So I have in my notes app called the Idea Journal, where I have been for over a year and a half now. Anytime I get like an idea that feels special, important, opulent, silly, or something just worth remembering, I will write it down. This is the first thing I would like to recommend to everyone. Get an idea journal, specifically in your phone, because you always have your phone on you. I am never going to advise someone to do anything on their phone, pretty much ever, besides their idea journal. You need to get an idea journal, date it, put the time down, and just write the little thing. Or if you see something, take a photo, put it in. Take a screenshot, whatever. You need to have an idea journal. It's fantastic because it's not like a daily journal where you're doing more like long form reflection. This is like quick snippet little things. Okay. Anyways, I'm just going to go through my idea journal over the last week and kind of just like see what I wrote down. And I'm going to share with you guys some things. Aw, see, I'm like looking at this and I'm like, one of these is so cute. I wrote freedom, consciousness, and love are all expressions of the same thing. I think that is so sweet, but I'm not here to talk about that one right now. I wrote down interrupt your inner critic. And I want to bring this to the forefront of my beautiful chickadees' brains. All you little chickadees that are tuning in to Just Jenna as we speak. I want to invite you to interrupt your inner critic. For the longest time, I thought my brain was just my brain. I didn't know my brain was a critic. I didn't know my brain was a bully. I didn't know that there was a different way to have thoughts. I didn't know there was a different way to experience this life around me. Because no one knows this, quite literally, especially coming into adulthood. I think people start coming into this awareness of like, holy shit, like, I'm the only one that thinks like me and other people are having completely different experiences in their brain and all that sort of thing. Anyways, I don't want to leave too far from this tangent. When I say to interrupt your inner critic, I think it's important for a multitude of reasons. But first and foremost, I think a lot of people's knee-jerk reactions is to have more of an internalized bully, critic, hater, if you will. And whenever you hear this critic, whenever this voice comes to you, whenever you hear this negative attitude, shitty shadow person start chiming in into your world, into your life, into your brain, interrupt it. Get curious. Ask it a question. Say why. Why do you feel that way? So silly. Why? And then invite what would be the opposite of an inner critic. I have no idea. Let me go to ChatGPT. What would be the opposite of an inner critic? I have no idea, you guys. I have no idea what that would be called. Inner ally. I love inner ally. There's other options. I love inner ally. Okay, so anytime you have some negative thoughts come in, and I'm not talking about like, no. If you have your critic coming in, belittling you, berating you, being cruel to you in any way, shape, or form, speaking to you in any type of fashion in a way that you wouldn't speak to other people, that's who I'm talking about. That little beast that lives within you. When that little beast starts chiming in, starts chopping it up, starts making you behave in ways that are in alignment with that. I'm not saying like because you have an inner critic that like you are an evil person. I'm saying like you actually don't follow your dreams. You actually don't shoot your shot. You actually don't say the thing that you want to say because your inner critic is telling you that you're a stupid, silly little weirdo. Okay. And I'm talking about that inner critic that makes you do those types of like small things. Instead of how you want to do a big thing, it makes you do a small thing. Okay. And invite your inner ally to come in and say, you want to know what? Hey, inner critic, pipe it down for a moment or two. Hey, inner ally, where are you? Come on, come to the surface. You're safe. Come to the surface and say, what would you do? What would you do? And just invite this, a cheerleader, invite the ally, invite this optimistic friend. What else? I cannot share some of these things out loud. I wrote this. Here we go. It's so peculiar. Oh, here we go. I probably was reading poetry at the time because here we go. It's so peculiar to me how much I love human beings / other people, but I don't really like hanging out with a bunch of people. Like, I don't have a busy friend group, and I prefer this. I prefer my own company like 86% of the time. I love one-on-ones. I love staying in. I love missing out. I have so much fun when I'm alone. Reading, writing, learning something, exploring. There are so many stories I need to read and write. That's why I love people, because everyone has a story. And to exist in someone else's story, even for 2 hours, is such a gift. But I can't help but to make the discerning statement that I have never once regretted staying in alone. Joy and bliss. Damn. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that way. I absolutely feel that way. For the longest time, I thought, well, like I got a lot of positive reinforcement in my childhood and then especially in my teenage years. I got a lot of positive reinforcement for being the quote unquote life of the party, for always saying yes, for always being like loud and wild and crazy and being the one doing the most. And I have just recognized that I don't feel my best when I do that. It might feel good to other people when I'm doing that, when I'm acting that way, when I'm saying yes, when I'm being loud, when I'm being crazy. But I do not feel like my best version of Jenna when I'm doing those sorts of activities. And I think it's really cool how I have allowed and accepted myself to shift and change my mind. And so if you're feeling like you want to make a shift and change your mind, I want to invite you to do that. Because I think so many people have these stories attached. Like, oh, if I'm not talkative, people won't like me. Or if I am not the life of the party, I won't get invited anywhere. Or if I want to stay in and read, that makes me a hermit. Or whatever the story that you have attached to anything. Just remember that you're the only person attaching any story to any type of thing, and everything is neutral until we give it this charge of a story, this charge of an emotional thing. It's complete bogus. And if you feel like you want to start talking more, start talking more. If you want to start talking less, talk less. If you want to quit a hobby, quit. If you want to have a new lifestyle change, do it. If you've been doing weightlifting your entire life and you have created it to be a part of your identity, but there's a voice inside of you saying that you want to stop doing it, but then you're like, but I can't stop doing that because it is me. I am it. See what happens when you don't. I'm just saying. It's really fascinating what happens when you realize that all of these things are neutral. Changing your mind is neutral. All these activities, things, identities, personas that we kind of take on, everything is very, very neutral. It's just a story that we have. It really comes down to the stories that we have and the stories that we're telling ourselves. I want to invite you to release the story. Release the story. I had another idea about a tattoo, which I'm not going to share because that is so silly. Oh my God, I love this. Prime the soil before you plant the seed. This is in regard to taking care of your body or doing the things that you need to do. Oh, okay. I don't need to go into that, but I'm going to say this again. Prime the soil before you plant the seed. I think this is I just love it. I love this little saying, metaphor. I don't know what it is, but I think so many people are just wanting to get something before getting their container ready to receive the thing. And maybe I just want to like leave you guys with that. I'm like, interpret that how you want, because I know how I'm interpreting it, but I'm interpreting it in a very specific way, in a very specific area of my life, and you're not me and I'm not you. So I'm just going to say this again and take it how you want. Prime the soil before you plant the seed. Oh, there's another quote I read recently about the soil, or maybe it was like a story I read in, okay, I'm going to try to summarize this off the top of my head. If it comes out all silly willy, I'll look it up. But essentially, there is this gardener who is this world-renowned, maybe he's not a gardener, let's say he's a florist, a world-renowned florist. He grows the biggest, most beautiful, opulent flowers ever. Ever. This little man comes around and he sees all these flowers and he was like, holy smokes, holy guacamole. How on earth do you get your flowers to look like that? And the man says to him, I just removed things from the soil that would inhibit its growth. And I know I butchered that because that is not exactly what the story was, but I think you guys get my point. To grow amazing, beautiful flowers, you have to take care of the soil. You have to take care of the environment that it's in. If you were to, I think about this with like fish tanks. When a fish tank gets dirty and maybe the fish gets sick, you wouldn't look at the fish and be like, you're wrong, you're bad, you're ruined, you're not a fish anymore, you got sick, you're all fucked up. No, you remove the fish from the fish tank, you clean the aquarium, you put the fish back in, the fish is fine. I think so many of us are looking at ourselves, and I think, because here's the fine line, here. I think self-reflection is amazing. I think self-actualization is, should be your number one priority. To a certain degree. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, I don't know. But getting curious about yourself and reflecting is super huge, super important. Getting to the nitty-gritty, getting to the roots of who you are and why you do it, right? We want to do all these things. But I think it comes to like a certain point in everyone's growth journey where you need to stop pointing the finger inward and you really need to look at the environment that you're in and being like, okay, is this environment conducive for my growth though? ? Are there people that are like pissing in my soil? Are people littering in my soil? Like, what's going on here? Because that can happen as well. That is also very real and very true. It's not all on you to just be this like perfect thing. No, you also shouldn't be striving for perfection. You already are perfect. I promise you, you little chickadee, you already are perfect. But regardless, I just think it's something to ponder. Something to ponder. Oh, I'm reading 3 books at the moment, which, what a trip. But in chapter 4 of The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, my favorite author of all time, geez hell, he said, and I wrote it down on a walk one morning, so let's see people bring the character they have to the position they occupy or to the religion they practice. Oh, right. I wrote this down because again, I think so many people look at religion or a job or a position or a thing or whatever and they label it immediately as good or bad. Right or wrong, yes and no, high and low. And no, we're going to the gray area, people, because love lives in the gray area, okay? Anywho, these things are all neutral. It completely is dependent on the type of person or the type of character that this person has coming into these positions of power, coming into this religion, coming into this job, coming into this relationship. You know what I mean? And so I think the most important thing to do is to purify your own intentions and get really curious about what your character is all about. Not this surface level performative bullshit thing that like you only show when there's a spotlight on you. But like, what do you do? Like, think about this. Like, what is there anything you do that you would be really embarrassed for people to know about? Or like embarrassed to like say out loud? Like a habit, like a daily little thing. I'm not talking about like, okay, I'm not talking about like when you're alone in your room and you're like walking around doing like self-care things, like, and you have like a face mask on and like a shirt with hair dye on it and you like look array and look a mess and whatever. I'm not talking about that type of embarrassment. I'm talking about like if you're doing anything in secret that you would be embarrassed, like that would like show signs of your character, like lying, cheating, stealing, that sort of thing, being a bad meanie bobini, those sorts of things. Get clear on what you're doing in your alone time. And I think your character will attract other characters akin to yours. And get really curious about other people's character. Do not get swayed by how these people present themselves when everything in their life is going good, great, and dandy. Look at how people are presenting themselves when like shit is hitting the fan, or like how they treat people that can't give them anything, or how they treat people quote unquote below them, how they treat themselves. Like, get curious about people's character, damn it. Here's another thing I wrote down. I screenshotted this quote I found on Pinterest, and this is a very personal thing for me, but I'm going to share it anyways because also, you know what? I know Bugs is listening to this, and hell, she's also a writer. But this woman named Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I do not know who she is, but she's the one that said this. She said, "You may not write well every day, but you can always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page." I think this was absolutely fantastic, and it's absolutely everything I needed to hear and more, because I think this is like very literal, obviously, in terms of writing. Like, you just need to give yourself the time and space to practice writing every single day, because again, even if it's bad, it doesn't matter, but you have literally nothing to work with if you don't write. But I think this has to do with so many different areas of life, like exercise, for example. Like, working out even 5 minutes a day is better than zero. It's better than zero because at least you now have some momentum. You have something to work with, right? Or spending 10 extra minutes in the morning to put on a cuter outfit, if that's something you would like to do. I don't know. It's better than not giving yourself 10 minutes at all, or giving yourself, like, you know what I mean? I'm saying the quote again. You may not write well every day, but you can always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page. You got to give yourself something to work with here, people. Just go for it. Just do it. Just action. Love it. Okay? And then my latest and greatest, I wrote this down yesterday. And then I think I'm going to stop it here, but you need to do the things you love more than every once in a while. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me about something that he really loves doing. And he was like, yeah, I only get to do it every once in a while. And I was like, oh, that's so sad that you're only doing this, because it's like a little thing. It's not like this like big, like, oh, let's say he loves like traveling to fucking Tulum, and he's like, I only travel to Tulum every once in a while. Like, I'm not talking about that. I think, honestly, I'll be very candid, it was about reading. And he said he loves reading, but he only gets to do it every once in a while. And I was like, that is a shame that you're only doing the things that you love every once in a while. I did not say this to him. I'm not judging anyone else for this experience. It really hit me in the way of like how I want to incorporate it in my life. And I, so much so that I wrote it down, because like, I love cooking, I love reading, I love writing, I love stretching, I love yoga, I love walking. And it's like, I want to do these things more than every once in a while. Like, I don't know why the hell this is coming into my brain. If you love to jump rope, don't just pull out that jump rope every once in a while. Make it part of your routine. Get that jump rope into your life and just start jumping. Just start moving and grooving. If you love to make a really elaborate matcha, let's say, don't just do it every once in a while. You deserve to do this all the time. All the time. Not every once in a while. Don't save the things that you love to do for just every once in a while. No. I am on E. I'm sipping my tea and I am on E. I need to go to an urgent care. Actually, now I'm looking at the time. I'm like, nope, I have another meeting that I get to clock it. Y'all get that? Clock it. Clock yourself. Clock me. Clock it all. Okay? I get to have another meeting soon, and then I get to go to urgent care, and then I get to rest for the rest of the day. I'm so blessed. I'm so glad I am able to have a microphone. I am so appreciative of any single person that tunes in. I'm so here. I am so here right now. I love you all to the moon and back. You are my special little human beings. And remember that. Don't you even dare forget it, that you are a human being, and leave yourself alone. You are not some thing that needs to be fixed. You are just absolutely perfect the way that you are. But a little self-reflection won't hurt. Getting a little curious about yourself. Oh my goodness. It's cool. This should be fun. Remember, this should be fun. This whole thing that we're doing here, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be fun. So have some fun. But I love you guys. And I hope you have a beautiful, fantastic rest of your day, of your life. And I feel like I want to say one more thing. What do I want to say? Jenna, what do you want to say? Nope, I got nothing. All right. I love you guys. And I will... I can totally start doing this at the end of my episodes. See you next Tuesday.